So we're wrapping up December right now, and we're going to be talking about what we need and what we should be focusing on. Oh, the pain. Spotlight caches. They're very critical, important. You can see that terrible pull right there, which is the worst. And then we really want to be able to know, do you want to risk things like that? Another bad one. Don't love that. But do you want to risk these sort of things as far as using your spotlight caches for? I mean, which weeks are you going to want to focus your spotlight caches for? Right now, I'm going for Selene, and these, there she is, which are going to be the ones that you're going to want to focus on for the rest of January and for February. There are some critical cards in here, and we've got one that is probably going to be the first time where we're not going to list a Series 4 as a skip. So it's that good of a card. So let's jump right in. In order to properly rank these and understand these, we're going to go through the cards very quickly, and we're going to end with a graphic that we're going to show to you guys. So we've got some critical information to kind of go over here. The first spotlight, and we're going to go through January and we're going to go through February. Caiera, this is going to be a 3/4 ongoing. Your 1 and 6 cost cards cannot be destroyed. I think this is going to be a strong card. You'll see that coming up. And we'll go over this, which of the cards are Series 4 and which are Series 5. Next up is Hercules. It's going to be a 4 cost, 6 power. The first time another card moves here, each turn, move it to another location. So it's basically like a bounce effect. If you bring something there, it bounces back. So it's going to be pretty nice, and it's going to give you the ability to maybe play with Phoenix Force, maybe Werewolf by Night, but I don't really think so because of what's happened with that card. But it gives you some options to bounce cards around, or even like, what about Human Torch, Multiple Man, all sorts of different things. Any way to get potential points when you move a card. Meek, 1/1 after each turn. If you discard any cards, gain +1 power for each and move. So it moves, but it doesn't gain power when it moves. It gains power when you discard. Next up, we've got Grand Master. It's a 2 cost, no power. On reveal, move one of your other on reveal cards here to the middle location. Its ability happens again. So you basically want to drop this on a spot that you've got an honor reveal that you want to move to the middle and have it go again. Seems simple enough. Seems like it could be a good solid card. There is some RNG to it, but you're still able to pick the on reveals you're getting double takes for. So you just got to be smart about which ones go where. And then last but not least, at least I think it's the last one for January, Beta Ray Bill. This is a 4 cost, 5 power card. On reveal, shuffle Stormbreaker into your deck. What Stormbreaker does is double on reveal, double Beta Ray Bill's power. So it's got 1 power. So it's somewhat similar to Thor, except for you get double the powers instead of 6 points, which basically the same, but also you get 1 power here out of Stormbreaker. So I like this card. It's decent. Now let's jump into seeing the series for these. So everything is a season pass or Series 5 except for Meek. Everything. So they're all Series 5. You're going to see this here. That way, oh, now you can see it a little better. They're all Series 5. You got Scars the Season Pass, and then you've got Hercules, Grandmaster, Beta Ray Bill, Series 5, Meek, Series 4. All right, so now let's jump back over and look at the February cards that are coming to the game. Now these, again, this is all data mine stuff, so stuff subject to change, etc., etc. Super Giant, 1 cost, 2 power. On reveal, all cards played this turn and next don't reveal till the game ends. This to me is an insanely strong card. You're going to want to have priority when you do it, and I'd maybe consider playing it last so that way your card, or unless maybe you do it with Ironheart and you want to wait to get some cards on the board, but either way, this can really mess with your opponents. I like this card a lot. I think it's going to be super strong. Next up, we've got Cull Obsidian, 4 cost, 10 power. You can only play this at a location with an Infinity Stone. Ongoing, it can't be destroyed. So this is never going to be destroyed other than Galactus. Galactus, I assume, is going to destroy this card. I don't think it'll bounce around if it does anything like that. But what I like about this is it pairs really well with Thanos. So maybe you're not getting anything great, but you've got an Infinity Stone. You could drop the Time Stone on 3, or on 2, and play this on 3. It's a really strong card to play on 3, a 3/10 basically. Pretty good. I mean, it's 4/10, but you get the extra from the Time Stone. So I like this a lot. I think there's a lot of potential here. Obviously, you're going to be using it with Thanos Death, though, so that is going to limit that potential. Next up, we've got Corvus Glaive. This is a 3 cost, 4 power card. On reveal, discard 2 cards from your hand to get +1 max energy. This is going to go to the discard archetype. It's going to be your electro type card, and you're going to want to use it in decks where you don't mind discarding certain things in your hand. Like this card a lot, and then it goes with discard, that is, and it goes perfectly with Proxima Midnight, which makes sense. It's a 4 cost, 6 power card, but really you never want to play this card because when this card is discarded, jumps to your lowest power location that isn't full. So you want to get this discard. You want Corvus Glade to discard this, and this goes onto the board. Those two are going to go hand in hand. You're going to absolutely want to use those together. And then like we did with the other ones, let's look at the February cards. And our February cards here, what do we got? So Black Swan, that's their season. We've got Super Giant as 4, and then the other 3 are 5. Super Giant being a series 4 is sort of crazy to me because I thought she was arguably the strongest card of this bunch. So if they do release her as a series 4, that's a big thumbs up to Second Dinner. A big fan of that. Before we get into the actual graphic and rankings here, I want to bring up one point because what we've got data mined is definitely going to change, and I know one for sure. Again, shout out to Nina is new for this graphic. So we've got these drops happening on January 9th. One of them is Stature to Series 3, which means none of these cards on the right-hand side can be in spotlights anymore, including Stature. We're going to see that on the graphic. One of the data mined spotlights has Stature in it. That clearly cannot happen. Also, keep in mind when you see Howard the Duck, Hitmonkey, Dokken, Phoenix Force, I think those are the only ones in there. Those are now Series 4 cards. So when you're thinking about which ones to pull and how much tokens they may cost, you might want to weigh that in your factoring. So now, having said that, let's go look at our graphic. So here's the graphic. You'll see some double ups here because some items are actually have been changed since we last saw them. So I want to make sure to cover that. The way this graphic, and we'll go through each layer here. The way this graphic works is easy skip. Good niche is something that's like, it's a card that typically maybe fits in a certain archetype, but it's not necessarily something everyone might want. Solid is just a straight up solid spotlight week. And then save 4 is when I'm like, you know what, you really might want to save spotlights for this week. You will see some that are sort of overlapped. Those are ones I'm just a little indecisive about and kind of like, it's in between this range. Let's do this in sequential order. When you're seeing this video, this is Selene's week. It's Selene, Iron Lad, Black Knight. You just saw me pull for those. Look, Iron Lad's a great card. Black Knight, I do not like. Selene, you know, I had her in kind of a must save, but that was really more about, I'd say, the Iron Lad, really, because a lot of people didn't have that. So it's between that solid Iron Lad range, but it could easily fall down to a niche section. The save 4 week, Caiera. This is the first week we've got in January here. Now, this used to be Hitmonkey. You can see up here. Now it's Nebula. It's still got High Evolutionary, which is a fantastic card for anybody out there who's a newer player. This is a week you 1000% want to save 4 spotlight caches for. And frankly, you're going to want to get all 3 of these cards if you don't have them. I think every single one of these pulls for any player who doesn't have them is going to be good. You're not going to be upset if you get Caiera, and High Evolutionary is arguably the best big bad in the game. And Nebula is arguably one of the best one-cost card in the games, which actually is going to synergize with Caiera. So that way Nebula doesn't get destroyed. Hopefully you can have Caiera out there before it gets Killmonger on turn 3. Then we've got the week of January 9th with Hercules. You slide this over. It's between that good niche and solid section. This used to be a very, very different spotlight. It used to be Howard the Duck and Galactus. It's still Howard the Duck, but it's now got Werewolf by Night, which costs 4 to use. So this is a tough card or spotlight to sort of swallow a little bit. I do like the Hercules aspect a little bit more, but it's a niche card because of all of those move type aspects you're going to lean into. And Werewolf by Night was great, but I think at 4, it's just, I would have rather seen them reduce the power of Werewolf by Night as opposed to the cost. I think where it was pretty good as far as when you could play it. If it got built up a little bit, let's pull the power down some. So anyway, that's this week. And again, I've got it as sort of a niche. Howard the Duck, still not a fan of that card. All right, then we've got the Meek week. This is an easy skip. It's a series 4 card. I never like using spotlights for them. Use your tokens for it. Phoenix Force, while I think it's going to be interesting with Hercules, not sure it's going to make a super strong comeback. Maybe it will. Annihilus, fun card. Interesting for junk players. I don't know. I'm not necessarily looking to pull spotlights this week, and I'm not sure I'd recommend for anybody to really necessarily do that, even for discard, junk, or move type players. Now, the last of the January weeks is we've got our Grandmaster, which ends up, instead of having Elsa in it, is now got Hit Monkey. Now, Elsa did take a hit, so, you know, that's understandable. But I actually think that given the nerf to her, Hit Monkey might be a little better, especially with some of these zero cost cards and stuff that you can play with them. Some of these Jeks, these Selenes, you get zeros. I don't know. Maybe you play some stuff. There's some bounce stuff out there. It's really good. Loki, still arguably the best season pass card in the game ever. That hasn't been nerfed. And then Grandmaster we discussed. And again, this is the, I say save for solid section. Loki has a big part of this, and Hitmonkey's a really good card. Grandmaster, I can't say I love, but I could see it being pretty solid. If you think about it, you could play Grandmaster on a Loki at some point late in the game and maybe get some additional points for your collector. Any sort of on reveal, maybe Devil Dino decks, you might want to look at something like that to get extra points. Anything, I mean, anything that's on reveal, you've got certain Wongs, you've got White Tigers, you've got your Iron Hearts, anything that's giving extra points, Silver Surfers, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, there's a lot of ways to get additional points here. So I think Grandmaster could play in really good, pair up with Ravonna, etc. Let's get into February. February 6th, Super Giant Week. This is a save 4. This is the first time I've ever had a Series 4 in a save 4. It's not just because it's a Series 4 though. These other two cards in here, if you don't have them, you want them. Now, Darkhawk took a huge hit with Blob, and I think Darkhawk's going to suffer from that for quite a while, but Zabu's still fantastic. So I have this in a save 4 for right now, but I will tell you, I will personally not be spending spotlights for this. This is for the players out there to draw attention to it, to say, hey, this is a really good week for you newer players to potentially get really good cards. So save for this week. Then February 13th, we've got Cull Obsidian in the good niche section. Oddly enough, he comes with Thanos and Nimrod. Nimrod's a great destroy deck, so you don't have to worry about Cull Obsidian getting destroyed if you have Destroyer out there or anything like that. You move some Nimrods around, could be a really good play. I like this week, even though it's good niche, I think it's going to be a really good card to have because Thanos is so strong. It's just that you need Thanos for Cull Obsidian to make sense. So in that regard, it's niche. Otherwise, I'd say it's save 4. So this one's a little bit odd, but it's, if you could have a good niche save 4, it'd be this one. All right, and our last two here also in good niche. They really go hand in hand. We've got Corvus Glaive, which is currently paired up with Stature, which is the whole reason I sold that Nina graphic. This is not going to be what the spotlight is. Stature cannot be in this. It's impossible. It's Series 3 because it's in February. So that's going to get changed. We'll see what it's to. It could potentially move it around a little bit. I don't know, but I think regardless, Corvus is the main card there, and you're not necessarily going to be all that excited about what else is in there. So then last but not least here with Corvus is Proxima Midnight, the February 27th week. MODOK and Dakin also potentially discard type situations. I could see all of these being paired together. I like this week as well, but it is still a niche week. So if without these two together, it doesn't make sense. If you're not a discard player, it doesn't make sense. If you're not a content creator, it doesn't make sense. We cannot cover spotlights and not at least talk about the spotlight variants that you could potentially get with a game that's leaning into cosmetics for its monetization. It's very important. So Caiera, I think it's a solid what if card. It's from What If. Would I spend 6,000 tokens and then keep rolling for this? I wouldn't. I love the high Evo one. I will not be upset if I get this at all. I love the comic cover variants. I think this could be pretty neat. It's almost like a gold background already. Kind of nice. The Nebula one, I think it depends on the animations. It looks sharp, but to me, and honestly, truth be told, is animations are always everything to me. The next week, the Hercules version here looks pretty neat. It doesn't really, it's a Planet Hulk one, so I guess it's kind of cool. I wouldn't necessarily play this. Howard Duck one looks pretty cool. I bet the animations on this are really good. So I wouldn't be upset if I got that if I was a Howard player. Again, we talked about the comic covers. Sadly, Werewolf by Night's fallen off, but I would love to have that. The spotlights for the Meek week. Meek, Planet Hulk again. I don't know. I mean, if the animations are cool. Annihilus. What's it? Steampunk. It might have some things moving around a little bit. It looks like this corner, that orange in the bottom right might be moving around some. Phoenix Force, unfortunately, because you lose the card, all you get to do is see it when it's in your hand. You don't get to see it when it's on the board. Not really all that exciting. Then we get the Grandmaster week. This Grandmaster variant looks pretty cool. Hopefully those cards move around a little bit. The Loki one, as much as I like this and it's got a special spot in my heart for playing Marvel Future Revolution, I don't expect this to be that exciting of a variant at all. I just don't think the animations are gonna be cool. Chibi Hitmonkey, though, I could see that being cool with the fire coming from the gun. That could be very, very neat. Beta Ray Bill week. Del Mundo Beta Ray Bill. I bet this variant is awesome. Just with the explosion behind him, I think that's going to be phenomenal. The Bronze Age Galactus. It is a comic cover. I don't know if I like that one as much, to be honest with you. I just don't know how good the animations are going to be. Also, Bloodstone. I do like that cover. I don't know. I maybe the background a little bit. It does kind of have a natural gold. Now let's look at the February spotlights. Supergiant Inhyuk Lee. That looks actually pretty cool. Looks pretty sharp. Darkhawk. That actually looks awesome. The question is going to be the animations. The Zabu. Wow. Wow. That might be one of my favorite Zabu variants I've seen. I really like that a lot. And if the green around that is like a glowing, ooh, sign me up. This Cull Obsidian, again, another Inhyuk Lee. I struggle with the animations there. The Nimrod animation, I bet this one's going to be awesome. With the animations, I like that one a lot. It's going to look cool. This Thanos, yes, please. Graphic, the Infinity Gauntlet Saga, this graphic novel, phenomenal. This cover, it's got a special spot in my heart. And I think the animations with the stones and the space and everything in the background is just going to be top tier. Corvus Glaive. I bet this one's got some pretty neat animations in the background, but again, unless you're a spotlight, obviously this can't happen, so it's not going to be there. It's just not. Peach Momoko X23. I am so tired of X23 variants. I like her. She's a great card. This is an awesome variant. I'm just sort of sick of them. Proxima Midnight. I think similar to Corvus Glaive one. It's pretty nice. It's going to have some nice things going on in the background. MODOK, similar stuff. Sort of sick of those variants. Had a lot. It's interesting. He's got all these things sort of flying around his mouth. I don't know. This Dakin one, though, it's munching. The MODOK munching. Okay. This Dakin one, though, I bet that one's pretty sweet. I just love the dark tones there. I bet this would be really sweet with a gold background. I think that would be just really, really nice. What kind of red crackle, maybe? I don't know. That could get pretty sweet. So anyway, wanted to cover that before we finish up. So this is the graphic. I really wanted to kind of show you guys this as a whole. I try to make these things so that it makes it a little bit easier for everybody. I'll go ahead and delete some. I'll have this stuff on my web or on the YouTube, and I'll have it on my Discord, link in the description below. But as you see these, the Save 4 week is your Caiera, your Supergiant, and then arguably the Selene Iron Lad week, and then the Grandmaster Loki Hitmonkey week. You get into solids with the Beta Ray Bill, also Bloodstone Galactus. All right, kind of solid, I guess. The good niches are the Cull Obsidian Nimrod Thanos paired up with the Corvus Glaive Proxima week. And then the Hercules card is sort of straddling that solid and good niche week with Howard the Duck and Werewolf by Night. Truth is I'm probably going to lower that to a good niche / skip because I think Howard the Duck could be is terrible, and Werewolf by Night is just taking such a hit at 4 cost, kind of hurts some. And then we've got Meek at the bottom. It was an easy skip because it's Series 4, and the other 2 cards, and to me, are very niche, so it's not necessarily a week you're going to pull. That's all I got. I appreciate you making it this far. If you did make it this far, please help the algorithm out by hammering down that like button. Until next time, we hope you have a wonderful day.